My name is Nick Crossland and I'm joined by Zenith's Market Intelligence Director, Esther Renfrew. Hello, Esther.
Hello, Nick.
I'll start by giving some information on the Congress and then hand over to Esther, who will take us through some global beverage market trends. This year's event will be held in Lisbon and is Zenith's 10th Global Soft Drinks Congress. The event is at the Myriad Hotel, which is a short distance from the airport. It's very convenient and easy to get to. Previous locations for this event have included Warsaw, London, Washington DC and Madrid. And this year we're in Lisbon. Full event details can be found on our website along with our online booking system, and there is a 20% discount for webinar attendees today. The event regularly attracts 150 delegates from around 40 countries, and I must thank this year's sponsors, Aptar, Benio, Bericap and Closure Systems International for their continued support. The title of this year's Congress is Taste of the Future. There'll be a plant tour to local producer Sumol Compal, and Congress content will include market briefings, Iberian perspectives, various innovation sessions and an entrepreneur shootout. Once again, the full programme is available on our website. As always, the event provides great networking opportunities and will be a gala dinner. There are over 30 speakers at this year's event, and these include Tata Beverage Group, the Coca-Cola Company, Sumol Compal, World Wildlife Fund, Zenith International, Unilever, Blue Marlin, Oxfam and many more, as you can see on the slide. I'll now pass you over to Esther for her presentation. Remember, you can ask questions via your computer at any time, and we'll do our best to answer as many as possible at the end of the session. Esther.
Thanks, Nick. Well, hello to everybody. Thanks for joining in on this webinar, both including an overview of the event in Lisbon and also the global beverage market trends, which I will now present. So my name is Esther Renfrew. I'm Zenith's Market Intelligence Director. As Nick has mentioned, please feel free to ask any questions and we will try and answer as many as we can towards the end of this webinar. So what will I cover just in this short session that we've got today? First of all, I will give you a quick overview on Zenith International, for those of you who don't know what we do and who we are. I will also talk about the global soft drinks consumption, so to give you some data on that. Focusing then on emerging trends and developments, and to conclude, I'll talk about some final thoughts and conclusions to wrap up the webinar. As you can see, these are beautiful offices in the city of Bath. We are very much a niche consultancy that specialises in food and drinks industry. We've been in operation for over 20 years now. We have a core of staff who are based in the UK in Bath, which is an hour or so west of London. And we also have a network of on-the-ground analysts throughout the world who have very specific specialist expertise. All our staff are specialists in food and drink, and we also have both technical and commercial expertise. So we're able to build factories, we're able to also help products to market, provide reports and trends, and so forth. So a very wide range of services that we can offer. Just very briefly, let you know that we cover a lot of different sectors in the food and drinks industry, mainly non-alcoholic beverages, although we have done alcohol as well, but bottled water, soft drinks, juices, hot beverages like coffee and tea, food, dairy products, functional drinks and packaging. So let's move on to the global soft drinks consumption. This is a chart which has been sourced from Zenith's Global Drink Service, looking at global consumption per person over the last 10 years. In green is the global bottled water consumption per person, and this has been rising consistently over the last 10 years, and in fact overtook carbonates back in 2007. In contrast, despite the fact that carbonates have a very high proportion of the market share, as shown in the dark blue line here on this chart, carbonates are being affected by calorie content and the relative lack of innovation. These numbers do also include energy drinks. Clearly, energy drinks is different to carbonates in that it's a growth sector. We're seeing strong growth here, and clearly that's muting a little bit the decline in carbonates that we're seeing globally on this chart. Still drinks, which includes ready-to-drink teas and coffees, fruit drinks and sports drinks. That's the third line down in purple on the chart here. They are all growing as consumers are seeing ready-to-drink tea as healthier beverage options. And also consumers we've seen have been trading from 100% juices and nectars to fruit drinks due to their sugar content and also their price points. Finally, dilutables, which includes squashes, cordials and concentrates. This is relatively flat in terms of per person consumption, but we've seen some very exciting innovation very recently with the liquid water enhancers. Let's look at some of the macro trends and focusing on the consumer here. It's increasingly important to put the consumer first. Personal relevance to the consumer is key in this very increasingly cluttered marketplace, and it's essential that products resonate with consumers and really do stand out. We're seeing much more personalised options like the aforementioned liquid water enhancers. Since the tough economic conditions observed in the marketplace, consumers have also been looking for more from their products that they purchase. They want products that hydrate, but also that offer something additional in terms of functionality or have something special about their attributions. And this is seen as added value and is much more likely to appeal. We've identified 5 key consumer drivers within the global marketplace, and they are health and well-being, age concerns and an aging population, the time and energy conundrum, convenience, and the search for natural. Additionally, we're seeing growth in global beverages, which has for a long time been driven by demand from the BRIC markets, but this is now moderating in terms of how important it is, and we're seeing beverage companies trying to find new market opportunities and adapting their growth strategies for the future. And this does mean that companies need to focus more on some of those mature markets where consumer demand is slowly recovering and thinking carefully about their proposition. Let's look at focus on calories and health. Health and well-being, as we know, is very much at the top of the consumer agenda, and products which are natural, healthy and low in calories look like they are set to continue on their upwards trajectory. Examples of functional drinks in these areas include nutracosmetics, which address beauty and anti-aging needs, popular in the world with an aging population. There are many other functional properties covered in this category, but some of the key areas have been weight loss and fat blocking, immune support, but this is more about prevention rather than cure, and consumers looking for a product that will help prevent something affecting their immune system. Finally, we're also seeing body skin care products, and particularly the use of aloe vera has become increasingly popular, and we're seeing further products which have aloe vera contained in terms of their natural properties and also their beauty properties. Moving on now to protein. Although this is not new, protein drinks have the potential to grow in importance. It's still very niche, and it's always been associated with areas of muscle gain and sports nutrition, but we're seeing this move into more mainstream areas. With a growing population and also increased urbanization, worldwide demand for protein is ever increasing, and traditional sources such as meat and milk proteins are failing to meet demand. There is potential for future development using vegetables and plant-based proteins such as through nuts, grains and legumes, and this is something that we think will see more activity in going forwards. So just to finish off, here are some final thoughts and conclusions that Zenith feels in terms of trends will be key in the next few years. Undoubtedly, innovation in the market is still going to be very important, and that will stimulate growth. There is a potential, as I mentioned before, to focus more on the developed markets because the emerging markets are starting to slow down. And there's also that move away from artificial ingredients to more natural products. Consumers have much greater scrutiny on their products that they are consuming these days. Increased demand for lower calorie products, but again using natural sweeteners such as stevia. This will be a trend going forwards. And also increased focus on products claiming functional benefits for health and well-being, which will add value in the still tough economic climate. And finally, we see some opportunities for innovation within both the protein and also the energy drink sector, which will ensure appeal to a wider audience. So thank you very much for your time. Obviously, if you have any questions, feel free to continue putting them through. We'll try and answer as many questions as possible. If you have any questions on specific data or anything else that we can help you with, then feel free also to get in contact. And finally, just a reminder, if you wanted to go to the Global Soft Drinks Congress in Lisbon, then having attended this webinar, you have a 20% discount on the booking, and also in terms of our reports, if there are any reports that you're interested in from Zenith, there will be a 10% discount from having participated here. So thanks very much, and hope to see you all in Lisbon.
Thank you, Esther. We have a handful of questions here, fairly short webinar today, but there are 4 or so questions here that have come in. First one, can you tell us more about liquid water enhancers that you mentioned earlier?
Sure, yes, so liquid water enhancers. This has been an area of massive innovation, certainly towards the end of 2013 and into 2014 we've seen lots of innovation in this sector, and this is very interesting. It started off with the Mio brand from Kraft with the Aptar packaging technology there, and it's really about personalizing beverage occasions, so something that fits into your bag that you can then take with friends and squeeze into your beverage, making it a little bit more of a theatre as well as personalising a beverage for that occasion. And this is something that we see as having great potential going forwards, and there's certainly a lot of interest in there.
And where is the opportunity for liquid water enhancers?
Yeah, very good question. I think in terms of opportunity, the main area at the moment has been in the US, where we're seeing a lot of innovation there. Where we're next seeing attention going towards is more towards West Europe. We think countries like the UK, where we've seen products, France, Germany, Italy will do well, and also China. We believe that there will be some interest in this type of innovation going forward. But I don't think it will just stop there. I do think there is potential to go further with this type of product.
Thank you. Another one here. Do you have any info on soft drinks catering specifically for adults?
Yes, this is quite an interesting one, because traditionally soft drinks has perhaps had a younger age profile. What we're now seeing is more adult-centric soft drinks, which has brought new life to the market. I think consumers are a little bit jaded with the traditional sort of drinks offering and looking for more sort of viable and interesting alternatives. And they're also looking for alternatives to alcoholic beverages. So here I think there's some potential for non-alcoholic beverages to do quite well. And there, at the moment, we're seeing some innovation and growth in more premium end of the market, with products perhaps borrowing more of a positioning from the alcohol sector and maybe more of an on-trade product. So when consumers are going out, perhaps having a drink with friends, they don't necessarily have to have an alcoholic beverages, but there might be some other propositions there. So I think this is an area that we're going to see further development. It's not going to be a mass market, but I do think there's certainly a market that's being tapped into by some of the companies out there.
Sure, thank you.
We have a question about the presentation. People are asking with regards to the presentation. Just to come back to you on that, absolutely, you'll be able to have a copy of the presentation. So that's not a problem at all. We're just looking through some of the other questions that are coming in thick and fast. Question about energy drinks and what's going on there. Yeah, energy drinks are quite an interesting sector in terms of, obviously it's growing incredibly. It's around 6 billion litres worldwide. It's got high value as well because of the price points of energy drinks. Where we're seeing growth is not so much on the artificial sort of energy drinks, it's more on the natural energy drinks product. Again, it's coming back to that natural side. We're seeing more plant extracts such as tea and guarana and ginseng being used as an ingredient as energy properties for those beverages. And some of the caffeine-free energy formulations are also proving popular. So we are seeing growth in those areas. Clearly, there's always that concern from the media about the energy drinks themselves and how much should be consumed and so forth. But that's still growing. There's still demand there, but it's particularly driven by natural.
Great, thank you, Esther.
We have a question here about how significant the growth is regarding relaxation drinks and the wider sort of nutraceutical market. Yeah, interesting question there. I think it is significant, but there still remains a fairly niche sector. Consumers are looking for a whole load of products that will actually help in terms of their well-being and their health. And clearly there are some consumers who will tap into some of these products and try. The difficulty with some of those products is that consumers often want more immediate effects, and some of these products might be offering more longer term effects on their beverages. So it is difficult to say as to how loyal consumers are, because you see lots of innovation there, but sometimes it's not as long lasting as perhaps some of the more traditional beverages.
Great, thank you. There's a question here regarding mainstream private label. Can you give us an insight into how mainstream and private label brands are performing?
Yes, what we saw obviously during, since 2008 in the economic downturn is the rise in private label and also sales through discounters as a channel have grown incredibly. Countries obviously like Germany, where it can be up to 50% of the market through discounters. What we've seen is a polarization of the market, where you've seen more value brands, and retailers also looking at more innovation amongst their value brands as well. So there's differentiation between the different types of value, so it becomes much more sophisticated. And then at the same time, you've seen more of a super premium category. If you look at bottled water, for example, the super premium waters are actually doing very well, whereas the mid-tier segment, the mainstream brands, are having more difficulty in sustaining market share. So it is very much a polarization between the two.
Great. Another liquid water enhancers. Question here, going to help the bottled water category growth, do you think? And also, will it threaten soft drinks?
Yeah, good question again. I think in terms of whether it would help, I do think it may advantage bottled water, because obviously if you order water when you're out and about with your friends and you can use a liquid enhancer, then that could be something that has a plus value to ordering water, whereas you might order a soft drink traditionally. I think it will help a bit, bottled water. I'm not sure it's going to be so much of a threat. I think it's probably going to be sort of more of an added bonus and something that's more of a treat. So I don't think it's going to be a complete threat nor a replacement for total drinks. But I do think that bottled water will see, and sparkling water here can work quite well.
Great, thank you. One here, sugar. Any evidence that sugar concerns are denting juice sales, and how can the sector react?
Certainly last year in Europe, we know that there's been some quite negative media campaigns on juice and how much sugar that a juice drink has. We know that that's affected sales. So there's two things really that's affected nectars and 100% juice, fruit juice. One being the sugar content and the other one being the price points. Now the sugar debate's becoming more prevalent, and that has in effect affected sales. We know that there's been a bit of a downturn there. Meanwhile, juice is also seen as a very healthy product as well, and people are trading from carbonates to juices. So it depends really on the market and how much the media has to play in that area as to how much effect it will have on the consumer. But clearly sugar is quite high on the consumer agenda, sugar and fat, and it depends as to which one they see as the two of the evils there.
Sure.
Right, getting lots of questions. We're trying to get through as many as we can. We've only got 1 or 2 minutes left. We've talked about, someone's asking about tea and the health there, and has that got a place? Certainly on the ready-to-drink teas, in terms of cold beverages, we're seeing growth there and a lot of interest and innovation. And in countries perhaps that traditionally haven't had strong cold drink or iced tea consumption, say in the Middle East, for example, where it's more of a hot beverage, you're seeing companies focus further in those areas because they see an opportunity to convert consumers to tea, playing on the fact that it is a healthier proposition with the antioxidants and so forth. So I do think there's a place for ready-to-drink tea, and there'll be new markets that will capture.
Great, thank you.
I think we've probably got time for one more question, and just seeing which one we can choose. There are an awful lot coming through, so sorry if we haven't had time to answer all these questions. Let's see whether we can pick one last one. So they're coming in thick and fast, so it's quite difficult to read them all at the same time. Yes, there's a really good, important question here. It says, you highlighted that consumers wanted natural but isn't more important for them. I think the interesting thing, and it's probably a good thing to finish on, is that consumers often want everything. They want convenience, they want indulgence, but they also want healthy, and overall the most important thing is taste. That is always number one priority. It doesn't matter how healthy the product is, if it doesn't taste well, it will never do well. So taste is number one, and price depending on how well the economy is doing, but also providing something that's got more value added for the consumer and something that's more personal and relevant to them is really important.
Good. Thank you very much, Esther. You've done most of the work today, so thank you. Thank you for listening. Do visit the website for more information on the event and on Zenith services, and hopefully see you at another webinar again soon. Thank you.
Thank you very much.